It may be that there really isn't any good example of money.
Well, they're all relative to each other.
Right? That's the point.
And depending on what you're measuring it on.
Well, but one of the issues is, does the volatility of the exchange rate, if it's volatile enough, actually function as a threat to store of value, even assuming there's no drift of the median exchange rate?
It's only been volatile to the upside over any kind of like meaningful amount of time, right?
Well, this is the point. You have a long-term trend, and so you can detrend it. You can subtract off the trend and just say, what is its propensity of the exchange rate? Can we remember it's not Bitcoin, it's the exchange rate of Bitcoin that has the volatility to it. So then you can ask, okay, well, how volatile is this asset on an annualized basis? It's pretty volatile. Now, that means that even if the middle point, however you want to define it, doesn't move that much, if I get in when it's very high and then it mean reverts and it goes way below, that is not going to be a great store of value for me based on my entry points and my exit points. And so in part, Bitcoin, its volatility is part of a threat to its use as money.
Well, I don't think you can't go from zero to, gold's worth $10 trillion in aggregate. You can't go from 0 to 10 trillion without volatility in the price.
But imagine, for example, that with gold, imagine a new element. Preciousium. Okay, so Preciousium transacts where it can be $5, the exchange rate of 5 and 5,000, and it doesn't drift relative to USD. Okay, just imagine. But it really varies within that range between 5 and 5,000. That's a tough store of value, even if you believe in some sense that it doesn't drift. It means that where you enter and where you exit really make a difference.
But the market is pricing in a new global money. And as Travis said, that you can't go from 0 to 1, 5, 10 trillion over 10 years, 12 years without some volatility.
Well, but again, do you want it to be volatile? Do you want, in some sense, if I think about 3 different universes, I have the universe of, let's say, consumer prices. Okay. I have the universe of fiat currencies, and I have the universe of crypto. So if those are 3 vertices of a triangle, then the edges of the triangle are all exchange rates. Even the price of a consumer good in fiat currency is really an exchange rate, right? How many pairs of tennis shoes? Okay. What should those legs look like if fiat currency is itself garbage?
Well, this is all relative again.
Things are just going to keep getting more expensive, right? Isn't that the answer?
Well, so that was my point, is that assume that the dollar, for example, has a property that with respect to consumer prices, that it has low variation with respect to consumer prices, but it has a high propensity to be inflated away. Just assume that that's true for the moment. And then assume that Bitcoin had a low propensity to be inflated away, but had extremely high volatility with both of the other objects because they both have low volatility relative to each other. So in some sense, you would have one vertex being a better traditional store of value, but subject to sky-high volatility. And you have the other thing being a better medium of exchange with respect to short-term fluctuation, but being a very poor store of value over a long term. Okay.
But that's how we use money, right?
Yeah, so this is this view that gold is good at storing value over time, but not space. And fiat currency is good at storing value over space, but not time. And Bitcoin is superior at both because it's instantly transferable anywhere in the world, really cheap, and it has the properties to store value very, very well. In Austrian economics terms, it's the hardest money in human history. And to your earlier point, the world hasn't actually ever had anything like it before. But there's like a qualitative framework around assessing potential stores of value that's been around for a long time, right? Gold, 5,000 years. Before gold, we're using salt, seashells, really big, heavy rocks. And there's a reason that, like, when gold came along, over time, humans decided collectively that gold was better at storing value than salt. And it's like an Austrian economics framework: hard money versus soft, sound versus unsound, the 6 characteristics of money: durable, divisible, portable, uniform, accepted, scarce. And when you line salt up next to gold, gold's definitely the winner there. And then when you put Bitcoin up next to gold, you can make a real credible claim that Bitcoin is superior in 5 out of 6 of those characteristics. And it's really just acceptability, given that gold is, like, not really the foundation of the global financial system, but, like, kind of, because central banks hold a lot of it. And, Bitcoin's made pretty good headways in terms of acceptability versus a 5,000-year-old asset in 12 years.
Great. I mean, it's something wildly new, super exciting. But what do you guys really want to talk about?